Hi everyone. Um Long time no see. I haven't seen you guys basically almost a year cuz today is the 15th when I'm recording. Um a lot has happened. And that's the reason why I haven't been uploading. If you hear anything, that is my cat, Lily, which I'll talk about in a minute. She just is wondering why I'm talking, so that's why she's probably like, What am I talking to? What, Lily? Well, come here. What's that? Come here. I got you. I got you. Come here. See? You see? Look at mama. Look at mama. Give me down. That's all I'm doing. So where do we get started, basically? I'm kind of just gonna jump into it because it took me over an hour to start filming this because I was on the hunt trying to find my lavalier mic that I use all the time because I was trying to figure out a different mic setup because I couldn't remember exactly how I had it last, and I was trying to use this microphone, which is the one I used for voiceovers because I couldn't ever hook it to my phone because I record on my phone. And yes, you might hear Lily in the background while I'm making the whole video. Anyways, if you wobble at all, that's probably why. It's because little bug. What? Can I record my video, please? Yeah, so basically, where are we gonna start? I'm just gonna kind of like get into it because honestly, if you hear any noises like that, it's gonna be Lily. She doesn't know because I've never filmed in front of her. Speaking of, so I'll get into when we got her. But the last time I saw you guys was about same time now, and like I said, a lot has happened. The reason why my video was the last video that I posted for the fairies one was because we ended up being able to move. Because if you notice, this is different. Because it took us over almost 2 years to finally get an apartment. And I think I've talked about that before, but it took that long to finally even be able to get an apartment when it shouldn't have. And we were trying to find one that was in Tampa because that's where our jobs were and that's where my family was and everything, and that's where we wanted to live. And we tried to have a place there, but it was so hard to find anything that was in our budget, and because of everything in the economy, and y'all probably definitely understand, but it took over, I got a little string, it took over almost 2 years to finally get this apartment that we're in, and this is an hour away from Tampa. We didn't want to live here just because that's why we moved to Tampa, and we were trying to find our own place, but then because better opportunities were going to be in Tampa for us to, do what we wanted to do in life, but it just didn't happen that way, and that's okay. So we signed our lease on our anniversary, which was our 3rd anniversary. I couldn't remember exactly for a second because we got Duncan on our 2nd anniversary, and we got this apartment on our 3rd anniversary. Hi, Lily. And so then we moved in that weekend. I did actually have 3 videos ready. It was a 3-long series of videos that I had ready and filmed prior to us literally leaving Tampa and coming here. And I was going to start editing them and getting them ready once, I unpacked, and I was filming vlogs, moving vlogs, which will be posted probably right after this video. But that didn't get done until about like April, which if you guys end up watching the moving vlogs, at the beginning I do talk about, be like, I haven't seen you guys in a while, because it was from January to April at that point, and now it's been January to January in this video. But this video is coming up before that one, for those two. And then the other 3 videos that for H&M that I actually had filmed before this. So we had to pack everything up within about a week and a half. We got a very short notice, which was like literally a week and a half of being like, hey, you know, this apartment that you applied for months ago, you're finally available to move in. Well, you have like a week and a half to get all your stuff together and move an hour away and everything. And we're like, holy shit, because we've never moved out, and this was the first time moving out for us. So we were having to learn everything, and I was having to literally every single day be on the phone with this place, getting everything transferred over. We had to drive over here one weekend to get Duncan his rabies shot to be in the county that we're in, because we had switch counties. We had, you know, it was, oh lord, it was a pain in the butt. But I had to get all this stuff done within a week and a half for our first time ever moving, and then actually moving. Well, so then, and moving Duncan as well with us. But so by now we're basically in February. We're in February because we're moved in. So we're moving in. Technically, we're still unpacking stuff. I some days stayed home because I wanted to finish packing, unpacking, I mean, and figure out the layout of our apartment. And also, Duncan wasn't feeling good. He started getting just weird little sinus infections, and before this he got a sinus infection basically like when the pollen season was happening in the summer, and we knew that was going to happen, and he started not feeling good. Then I just wanted to unpack the apartment and finally get us settled in, because every day it was drive to work for an hour, be there till basically 5, Dylan 6 o'clock, come back for an hour, then at 6 something he gets off work, then he gets home. I'm just being able to take care of Duncan right when I get home. Duncan's by himself all day long because of this, because we're gone from like 7 to 6 o'clock, and just everything, and then having to cook dinner right after, being able to cook. I had to clean the whole entire kitchen because they did not clean this kitchen at all, and I'll probably later on talk about this apartment when we end up moving out, but I won't say, you know, this specific complex's name, but I'll give hints if you know. If you know, you know at that point when I mention them. But yeah, so it was like that for a while. So February, March, that's how it's going. I'm filming the vlog in the meantime while I'm doing it, on weekends whenever I had to do stuff and to move stuff, so you'll be able to see that whenever we were getting stuff, me putting stuff together, Duncan helping me do all that kind of stuff. And yeah, so like that's what the vlogs are gonna basically be. And then like the progression of our apartment coming together will, more likely I'll film an update progression vlog, because a lot has changed, you know, obviously within a year of the layout of our apartment, of where it was when we first moved into now, because we have switched a bunch around even since then. Even since like a couple months ago, there's been things that have been switched around. But yeah, so then we're in April, and I'm because of this cycle that we're in, and I've been trying to find a work at home job since we moved in beginning February, and we're in April now. I was trying to find a work at home job, trying to find a job in general that was in here rather than Tampa, because I was like, I don't want to be driving an hour back over there and an hour over here. So that's 2 hours of drive time every single day, wear and tear on my car that I don't want to put on. And so then we're in April, and I'm just getting into a depression throughout the past couple months because of it. And then mid-April, I was called in just a random Thursday right before I was about to leave, saying that I was getting fired. I was getting let go. And then, which I wasn't expecting, but then I was also expecting. I wasn't expecting it as soon, but I was expecting it to happen at one point, because I was applying to places. And I had a job interview that was going to happen that next day. Well, that happened. Then I had the interview. And then that didn't work, because basically that interview was like, hey, we like to keep up with our candidates, even though I applied back in February and I just now was starting to hear from them. And they were like, we're not hiring until Q3 or Q4, which Q3 starts in July. We were in April, but like I said. So I was going to have to wait from April to July, possibly. And he even said that he didn't even know if they were hiring in Q3. It could have been Q4 more likely, which I'm not going to wait till October. Yeah, I'm not going to wait till October just to move and start working for a company. Sorry, Lily's doing something. I'm not going to do that. That's stupid. And then that was the only thing I had, because everywhere else was either telling me I wasn't qualified, even though I was qualified. And then I was still applying to places. Even after this happened, I just applied to places. Then I didn't know what to do, because I was like, I need to get money now, because we need to pay our rent. I need to pay my half of my rent, of the rent. I need to do something, you know? So I was like quickly applying to like Instacart, Uber Eats, like DoorDash, like anything that I could think of that I could get in quick and get money quick. And Instacart was the place to go, which probably, I have another channel, I'm not going to talk about it right now, but I have another channel coming soon, possibly, because I'm not going to be posting more likely on my makeup channel anymore. Just because even when I was posting on this channel, I wasn't really seeing the growth that I wanted to see over on that channel. Just because, you know, if you know anything about the makeup world, especially more nowadays, and the makeup community on YouTube more nowadays is very oversaturated. You don't get a lot of traction, and certain people get certain tractions, and certain people get the most attractions because of things that they're doing, and yada yada yada. But either I'm not going to be posting that much over there, or like posting at all, rarely, or I'm trying to figure out a new like revamp to it. But you know, that's more on the side now. But then the channel that I'm talking about now is basically just going to be like a channel where I'm just going to post like whatever I feel like. If I feel like posting anything, if I feel like giving like tips or anything for certain things, like what I'm talking about right now with Instacart, Uber Eats, DoorDash, all of them, I'm going to give tips about how to do those, how to apply to those. Postmates too, like I'm gonna do videos kind of like that, and do, you know, like just random little videos that I think are fun. And so yeah, so then I had to apply to Instacart, had to start making money. Instacart was the one allow me to immediately apply and start making money and go out and do deliveries, which I was perfectly fine with, and they weren't that hard to do. And so in the meantime, while this is happening, I'm applying to places when I get home, looking at places while I'm waiting for orders, and just making as much money as I can through this means, because at least I'm making money and I can put towards rent, put towards my bills, and I'm not having to borrow money from Dylan, who's my partner, if you haven't ever watched any of my videos, and or like my family. So I was like, I'm gonna make my money, I'm gonna figure out a way. And even before all this was happening, like, because like I said, I was filming vlogs, I was filming moving vlogs, I was getting ready to post them, I was gonna start editing my other 3 videos, gonna start doing research, but you know, obviously because of this all happening, I had to put y'all on the back burner because y'all weren't the thing I was making my revenue from, and I know it's going to take a while. It was still going to take a while to get to the point of possibly making any type of revenue, which is fine, because even when I'm making videos just because I want to, because I think it's fun to do, and the topics I've been covering on this channel are just fun and things I've always wanted to, like, either learn more about or inform people about, and that's why I made this channel. Because if you are like me and you're wanting to know stuff like that, that's the purpose of the channel, and that's why you can watch these videos. Which, don't worry, I got plans. After I get all these videos that have been waiting in the works to be posted, then y'all can definitely watch all the rest of them and be excited like I am. So yeah, so anyways, where was I? April and May. So I'm doing Instacart, I'm doing what I can, I'm making money, and at least I knew how to do it because I did Postmates back in the day when Postmates became a thing. Postmates was first like made, is when I used to do it, and so I knew, I knew how to do it. And so applying to places, then my partner Dylan, he has a second cousin. It's his dad's cousin, which I guess is considered his second cousin, I think. And they own an air conditioning company over here, and it's not that far from our place. And they were like, send your resume, let's see what you got. And I sent my resume, and they wanted me immediately to come do an interview and everything, and I was like, perfect, I'll come do the interview because I need a job. I need a job. And then I went to do the interview, and it was perfect, and they were very nice, and they were like, because they were just basically like, at the interview, they were like, just tell us about yourself, just tell us about your experience, and we'll tell you what your position is, basically. And it was funny because I was just like doing the interview thing, and then they're like, so do you want to know what your position is? Because we basically just made you a position that didn't exist here, but looking at your resume, we decided that we're like, oh yeah, she'd be perfect for this, and she'll do a great job doing it. And they understood our circumstance and everything, and so they immediately hired me, and then I started working. So we're in May and June, started working there, covering for someone else who was working there as dispatch, which is like picking up phone calls and stuff, and telling the techs where to go and stuff. And so I had to cover for her because she was going on vacation, and then after that I was going to start learning my actual job, which was accounting assistant, which I've never really done accounting specifically, but the experience I have from previous jobs in general and data entry and all that, and I love numbers, and I'm very good with my numbers, and I am very good at budgeting and breaking down things and all that, and math was one of my favorite subjects in school too, so it just worked perfectly, and that's where I've been since mid-May, basically. So I've been working there since then. And so basically, since June, we just been living life. June 6th. So if y'all play video games, y'all know about Diablo 4 coming out. Well, my little cat, we rescued her on the day after Diablo came out, so I think, or it was, no, it was January, or not January, it was June 6th, because that's why we named her Lilith. So her name is Lilith, because even before this, we were talking about wanting to get another pet, because especially that we were gone all day long, we didn't have Duncan a friend, and Duncan was by himself all day long. And, you know, we always wanted to get another pet too, because we just love rescuing babies now after getting Duncan. And so we got Lilith because Dylan's work friend ended up rescuing her like that day before. And we're like, hey, you want a cat? And we're like, sure. We're like, yeah, we want a cat. And she was only a month and a half old. She's very, very tiny. I'll probably put a picture up. And so now she is 9 months old. If you saw the beginning clip with her. I would go get her now, but I think she's taking a nap right now. But, yeah, so we got her. So we ended up getting Lily. We call her Lily, or we call her Lilith. Her full name is Lilith Piper. Like, her middle name is Piper. And we were just so happy and so excited. And then what was it? We could probably go into July, because I don't think really nothing else happened in June per se, besides getting Lily. Oh, one thing I just thought of. Duncan started getting his sinus infection again. And this was like, oh, because we're like, well, it's June. This is when he got it last time. This is like his annual sinus infection because pollen and stuff. That's okay. So then, we're going into July. I turned 25. So now I'm 25, turning 26 in July of this year. And Dylan's turning 26 too in September. But he turned 25 in this past September, 2023 September. So we both turned, make it easier. We both turned 25 in 2023. Now we're in 2024 and we're turning 26 later in the year. But yeah, so Duncan started getting a sinus infection. I knew what it was because he had it before. And so we took him to the doctor. Then we realized we're never going back to this doctor ever again. And if we ever are, which we did, not to this specific one, we're going back to the Tampa one because it's a part of a chain. And y'all probably will understand when I say that way. It's a part of a chain and it's for pets. And they have a doctor's office in their chains. They're horrible at this location that we're at. There's been many complaints about them. Even after this happened with his sinus infection in June, we could have sued them for the way that they treat us. Because then we had to drive an hour away from where we were. Because from here to that location, to that doctor's office, we were 30 minutes away. Then because the way that they treated us, and they weren't even going to help Duncan, when all he had was a sinus infection, needed his medicine, and I told them exactly what the medicine was, and the way that their staff treated us, and tried to send us saying that he is dying, and was not breathing, which was wrong, and sent us an hour away to an emergency vet, when if he's not breathing and you think he's on the verge of dying, why the hell would you send us an hour away? And then when we get there, They literally say, oh, he's fine. He just has a sinus infection. And we said, no shit. Obviously, he has a sinus infection, and we knew that, and we told them that, but they didn't want to listen to us, and they basically were trying to cuss us out, saying that he's overweight and all this shit, when literally he wasn't, and he was a perfect weight of what he was supposed to be, because he was on a diet from them, and he was on that diet since we ever got him. So, yeah. So that shit happened. That pissed me off. I'll probably talk about that later in another video on my other channel, like I was saying about the Instacart stuff. I'll make a whole fucking video about that, because that pissed us royally off, because it gave Dylan a panic attack thinking that Duncan was dying at that point. And it was so stupid. So we're in July. We're in August. We don't want to live here anymore, really. We were starting to try to figure out what are we going to do, because the economy is not good. It's, especially in the state of Florida, it is costing us more to live in the state rather than it should. Just because the people that are moving into the state when they shouldn't, and making it go skyrocketing high, and like, we barely get any groceries. We barely can get hardly anything for groceries, and it costs us almost $200 for two people. For two people, costing $200 for barely any groceries. And that, it doesn't matter where we go. We can go Publix, we can go Walmart, we can go Winn-Dixie. Like, it still costs $200 or more just to get groceries for two people. And it's ridiculous. We pay out the ass for insurance. We're paying out the ass to live in this apartment when we shouldn't, because these apartments are not worth it. And Duncan is getting more sinus infections during this time. And I'm having to give him more medicine more frequently, because he's starting to get more sinus infections. And we thought maybe it was just the carpet, because we have a carpet, because we're on the second floor. We vacuum regularly. We never not vacuum. We always clean the air filter. We've cleaned it out. We're on a schedule to replace it at about every other month, basically. We vacuum, like I said, regularly. We don't leave him in anywhere where, like, the litter could affect him, because before, the litter would give him, like, stuffy noses and, like, clog him up, and we knew that, so we never would do that again to him, because that was when we first got him and we didn't know any better. But then we knew, and we were like, well, what is it? Because we're like, is it just the carpet? And we think it is just the carpet. Then I think we're in September. Dylan's birthday. Duncan's still getting more sinus infections. Then we start talking about wanting to get married. We were trying to figure out if we wanted to wait until this year, 2024, or just go ahead and do it. Because we, at this point, which at the end of this month, right now, we're going to be together for 4 years. At that point, we were almost together for 4 years, and we were almost engaged for 3 years. And we were like, the only reason why we've been having to wait is because weddings are so expensive to have. My parents told us, even when we got engaged, that we were going to have to pay for our own wedding. We knew that. And I, even throughout, like, the years, we had Pinterest boards, we had everything. I've looked at, like, things off Amazon to buy, to order for, like, wedding stuff that is cheap, and to start collecting it. Well, then we were like, we're just gonna do it. We're not waiting anymore, because, you know, we've been together for so long. We don't want to keep waiting, and we've been saying that we're fiancés for almost 3 years. We don't want to keep doing that. And so we were going to go get married in the courthouse in October. But then my parents said, you know what, no. You can, or we will put on your wedding for you. And we'll give you the wedding that you actually want, because we understand how expensive it is. And so we agreed to that, because we were like, if they're offering for one, we can also have family members help us with things besides them. And like one of his aunts made our wedding cake, basically, and like a whole like other bunch of stuff. And it was basically a family oriented wedding, and that's what we wanted. And so we were putting that all together throughout September and October, and right when we're about to go have our wedding, Duncan got another sinus infection. We're about to go have our honeymoon for a day at Disney right after our wedding. So Dylan's brother and sister had to come stay the night and watch after Lily and Duncan, because both of them have never been by themselves ever, besides like, you know, for work. But we're meeting like overnight, like by themselves. So we were like, yeah, definitely stay the night and watch over them. And they were like, yeah, definitely, we don't mind, of course. And so they stayed, and we were like, definitely make sure you do this and this for Duncan, because he has a sinus infection right now again. And we were constantly having to drive back and forth to Tampa for that, because of him having these countless sinus infections. And we were just like, you know what? I want to move. Next place we're moving, we're never going to get carpet again. We're going to have hardwood or tile, because we can't keep doing this. If it's affecting his sinuses that badly just to be on carpet, yeah, we're definitely not doing this anymore. Because even at my parents' house, there was wood and tile, and he was perfectly fine until June, when his sinuses would do what they do because of pollen. And we're like, yeah, we're never moving to a carpeted place again, because like it's for the betterment of Duncan, and it helps us. And at this point, so our wedding happened, we got back, Duncan is just now getting over sinus infection. We're at the end of November, or at the end of October, basically. He just is getting over a sinus infection. Then we find fleas in this stupid apartment. And the only reason why there would be fleas in this apartment is because of our neighbors have a dog, and the way that they act, we're pretty sure they don't treat their dog for flea and tick. And that's the only pet that goes up and down the stairs in this whole entire complex, because our other neighbors, they have a cat. Our other neighbors don't have pets. They're the only ones who have a dog that go in and out of this apartment building with a pet to go in the grass that would bring in fleas and ticks. So then we had a freaking flea infestation, and he was not feeling good. Lily was itchy, he was itchy, of course. I'm trying to do my best. We were gonna get him medicine. We were trying to figure out what's the best topical ointment for him. We got Lily a Seresto collar. That seemed to help her. We were still trying to figure out what to do with him. And because I didn't want to put a flea and tick on him just at that moment, because he was still getting over his sinus infection. So I was waiting until his sinus infection was over with. And once it was, then I was gonna pop that bitch on him, and he'll be fine. But every single day I was combing him, getting all the fleas off of him, and we were vacuuming, we were treating the apartment, and then so we're basically in the first week of November at this point. And he started walking around moping, and we weren't sure what was happening. He started not eating, and we thought, oh, it's probably because he doesn't feel good because maybe he's getting another sinus infection, and he wasn't having a sinus infection just yet. And so then he wouldn't even stand up. He wouldn't get up. We bathed him with flea and tick, and he was perfectly happy that night, but he wouldn't get up, and he still wasn't eating. And so then I took him to the doctor, and then we end up getting told that he has congenital heart failure. If you don't know what congenital heart failure is, it's when it will just pop up out of nowhere and they were born with it. And it's untreatable. And back in July, I forgot to say, I just thought of this because of talking about this. My parents adopted another Himalayan because they missed Duncan so much, and they adopted a female named Mia, and she's 6 years old. She's very, very sweet. She's my other sister now, because Daisy is our family dog that we've had since I was in 5th grade, and she's literally my sister. And now Mia is my other sister, I guess. And she came from a family that had 2 other male at a point they had 2 other male Himalayans. They first had 2 other male Himalayans. Well, apparently, which my parents learned this when they went to go adopt her, and they told us, and since they told us that back in July, that with this family, apparently they learned something about male Himalayans when they turned 2 years old, that they could have real severe issues, and because back in September he turned 2, and ever since in July when they told us this, because the family ended up losing one of their male Himalayans because of this, because they were able to save the other, but they couldn't save one of the others. So 2 of them then became 1, and then that's why they ended up adopting 2 females, because they missed the other male so much, and that's how they got Mia. And then my parents adopted Mia, and ever since they told us about this, that was always in the back of my brain, because I was hoping that would never happen to Duncan, obviously, because Duncan is my baby. And so then we got told that in November, and the fact that it's incurable, and even if he would have got medicine and took it and started eating, he would have been able to live much longer. Maybe a couple weeks, maybe a couple months, but it wasn't going to be a year, basically. He basically wasn't going to live until he was 3, from what they were saying. It's so the night that we came back, because my mom, the second they told us, and they said we have to do all these other tests just to make sure, because he had an enlarged liver and enlarged heart now, which was the congenital heart failure, and they wanted to do all these other tests because they were thinking maybe he could have diabetes, and if he had diabetes, we could treat that, obviously. And my mom was like, don't even worry about money, I'll pay for anything that happens. Let's get them to do everything and anything that they can do. And then it wasn't diabetes, because I was hoping it was, because obviously if it was diabetes, I'd be giving him insulin as much as I need to give him every single time I need to give him it, whatever they told me to do. And I was just hoping that he was just chunky, he was just fat, and he just needed he just needed insulin, and I was hoping that was all it was. Because he was chunky. He was 15 pounds. He was a chunky baby. But, yeah, it wasn't diabetes. And that's when they found the heart thing. And then they gave us medicine that night. I gave him the medicine. I gave him the medicine that they gave her the next morning. And it was appetite stimulant and all this kind of stuff to make him eat. And if he didn't eat, basically he was going to go into liver failure. And he was going to die within the next couple days. And we were going to have to go work those next couple days. And they were thinking that we needed to start talking about end of life stuff, because obviously we don't want to come home and find him dead when we came home from work and just fucking just come in and find him sleeping, but he's actually dead. And we didn't want to do that, obviously. And the only other thing, sorry, the only other thing was that we could have possibly done was take him to that ER and basically put him on a feeding tube. And obviously we don't want to do that to him, because we wouldn't want to do that to anybody else. And obviously we're not going to put him through that, because he's already been through enough shit as it is. And that's why when they gave us the medicine, I was like, give me whatever you gotta give me. I will give him whatever you give me, because I want to make him live, because he's my baby. And that's the same thing I did when we first rescued him, because they didn't think he was gonna survive. Even when we first rescued him, because he was dehydrated and malnourished. And the doctor even then didn't think he was gonna live through the night. But I was like, nope, he's gonna live, because I'm gonna make sure anything happens that he's gonna stay. He's gonna be good. He's gonna be eating. Even if I have to syringe it in his mouth, I will make him do it and make him feel good, because I want him to be okay. And that's why I was like, give me whatever you gotta give me. I'll do whatever I gotta do, obviously, because he's my baby. And even with just regular medicine, I'm just like, give it to me and I'll give it to him. I don't give a shit. And he'll let me do it. And so then that night he wasn't eating still. He wasn't moving really like he was. He lost bladder control when we were coming back from the vet, which the doctor said he might have a lot of fluid in him, and that probably was gonna happen. But that next day, on November 7th, ended up him not eating still. And so then we ended up having to schedule sorry, I had to take a second. So of course it ended up having to be our anniversary of having been married for a month. Of course that's when we had to say goodbye to him. And we brought him over to my parents' house, because of course my parents wanted to be a part of that, because he was just as much as their baby as ours, especially when we lived with them. And We all rescued him together, basically. And so we had to say goodbye to him. And even though that happened in November, and we are in January now, I can't watch videos of him sometimes, or even look at pictures of him sometimes, because I'll do that. I'll cry. I'll just cry because I miss him so much, and I know he's around. I know he's probably somewhere in this apartment looking over Lily. Lily's over there, that's why I'm looking over there, because she's just gnawing on her toes. But I know he's somewhere around here looking over us, and I know he knows that we miss him very, very much, and I miss him every single day. And nothing's ever going to replace him, because he was special. He was one of a kind, and he was our first baby. He was our first child, basically. And it was very hard during Christmas and stuff, and I was so excited before this, because even right before this started happening, I was looking at advent calendars, because I did one with him the year before, and he freaking loved it, and I was so excited to do another one with him. And then now that we had Lily, I was so excited to do it with both of them every single day, and I knew he was just gonna love it. And it sucks that it happened so quickly, because Halloween, he's perfectly fine. He's perfectly good. He was eating normal. I even have a picture of both of them while we were watching Hocus Pocus, and he was being perfectly normal over his science affection, just dealing with fleas. And then it just turned around like that within a couple days. And yeah, so we missed him during Christmas, and I had his stocking up, but I really wanted to fill it with stuff, and I wish he was here so I could fill it with stuff. And it just felt more empty without him. It still feels very empty without him, because I miss his murmurs. And if you watch any of my old videos, there's clips of him in there, because he's always there when I was filming. He'd always come in the bathroom with me and be around me, and no matter what, even in my vlog videos, you'll see he was with me 24/7. And I love him so much, and I miss him so much, and Dylan misses him just as much. I know Lily misses him, because that was her best friend, and I'm happy that they got to spend the time that they did together, at least. But I wish he would have been able to spend more time. So then we're middle November, so we're basically the weekend after, and Dylan asked me, because we started, even before this, we were already talking about wanting to get another pet, because right before our wedding, we were gonna foster another cat, and really it was gonna be our third cat. Well, that didn't work out, for the first day at all, because Lily did not like her, and then she didn't like Duncan, but Duncan didn't give a shit. Duncan was like, what are you? Who are you? Why are you here? But Lily did not like her. She hissed at her 24/7. She was not eating. It just stressed her out so much, so then we couldn't keep her, and we started talking about wanting to get a dog, because we were like, well, if a cat's not going to work out just yet, we want to get a dog. And this was like way before, like, even this was back in like July too. We were already starting to look at dogs and other pets and stuff. And so then basically that weekend after Duncan passed, I went on Pet Finder, and I was trying to see if they had another Himalayan. They did, but he was 8 years old, and I didn't want to do that. And me and him both didn't want to do that just because him being 8 years old. Yeah. And we just went through Duncan. And so then Dylan was like, you know, we're gonna go out. We're gonna go do something. We're gonna get out of the house. And so we went to go spend the day at like this little market that they have over here about every other weekend. And then that morning he asked me if I wanted to go to the SPCA. I always struggle because I always want to say ASPCA, but it's SPCA. And he asked me if I wanted to go look there to see if they had any dogs. And we weren't going to get a dog if we didn't want to, or if we felt like it was too soon. And we were just going to go basically look. And I told him about the night before when I was looking at the Himalayan. And then he was like, if you feel uncomfortable at all, if you feel like it's too much, we don't have to go. We don't have to stay long. Even if we want to go, we don't have to be there. If you feel uncomfortable even while we're there, we'll leave immediately. And I just said, I don't know yet, because it was like early in the morning. And I just said, I don't know yet. And after we left his parents' house after the market thing, something told me we should just go look. We should just go see what they got. I don't know why. And he was like, well, don't get your hopes up just in case we don't find anything. That's fine. We probably won't find anything because, you know, shelters have pit bulls, chihuahuas, and stuff like that most of the time, and we don't really want, like a chihuahua, or we can't ever really have a pit bull, especially if they're already, like, full grown. If they're a puppy, then yes, because we can train them, but, you know, because of, we're planning on having children, and just, you know, if you know anything about pit bulls and stuff with children, sometimes, especially if they are rescued, you know. And so we were just like, alright, let's go. And then when we went in and we were about to sit down and wait for a second, because we had to wait for a volunteer from there to help us to go look at the puppies, I saw basically a black and white version of Duncan, and I about started crying. And then, like 2 seconds later, the volunteer comes up and she's like, you're looking for a puppy? And we walk in the room, because the room's literally right next to where we were sitting, and the only puppy that was available, the only one in that whole entire facility, and just became available that day, was a little black lab mix. And he was perfect in every way. And sadly, he got dropped off, not sadly to us, but sadly in his circumstance, him and his brother got dropped off, basically in their bushes. And they were like, go take them to Hillsborough County's animal shelter, and they were like, no, and just left. And basically just left them there. And we think his brother already got adopted, because he was the only puppy in the whole entire place, and he just became available that day. And we thought about it for a second, because then they were like, well, do you want to go look at any of the dogs? And they had like a little tablet for us to look at for all the pictures of the dogs, and we didn't really see another dog that we liked. And then she was like, well, do you want to take him in the little side room over here and get to like meet him officially, like him out? And we were like, for a second I thought, no, it don't really matter, like we shouldn't, it's whatever. But then I was like, yeah, why not? And so then we brought him in there with her for a second, and she was just telling us like everything he's been through and telling all of the shots and updates and stuff. And he's so freaking sweet. He is so freaking sweet. He went over, grabbed the baby immediately, and came over to us and was just like, hi, hello, and then was just like giving us love. And the second she was done telling us about everything that he went through, and he just wanted love. And she was like, I'll give you guys a few minutes to hang out with him, do what you want with him, chill with him, get to know him. And I got down in the floor with him, and the second I got down on the floor with him, he crawled in my lap and was just giving me kisses. And Dylan was filling out the paperwork already, because they wanted us to fill out like some paperwork, because we didn't know if we wanted to adopt him or not. And they still wanted like some information basically for us. And the second we did that, and he came in my lap, and Dylan was like, do you want him? And I was like, yes, because he is so freaking sweet. He's the sweetest little baby. And so we adopted him. His name's Lincoln, but we call him Link sometimes. And we called him Link because of his floppy ears, made him look like Link from Legend of Zelda. And now he is 4 months old. No, he's 5 months old. Why did I say 4 months old? He's 5 months old now, this past weekend. And I'll put a clip of him in here, because I don't want to go pick him up right now. But, yeah, he's a pain in the butt now. But, he's still biting. We're still getting out of the teething phase. I take him to work every single day with me. And he does act up sometimes because he's a puppy, but he's a good baby. And they think he's going to be about 30 to 40 pounds. And we don't know exactly what he's mixed with. So sometime I'll end up getting him that DNA test, and we'll figure out exactly what he's mixed with, because we're very curious. Because we've tried Googling like what he might be mixed with, and we think he might be a Black Lab Pit Bull mix, from the way he looks and from what the pictures we've seen of Googling them. We're pretty sure that he might be that, but also his doctor said he can be mixed with even like 3 things for all we know. So yeah, so that's basically, we got through the holidays. It was their first Christmases, and because Lily's still over there, that's why I went. And Lincoln's back over there too. He's in his crate right now, sleeping. But yeah, so we got through the holidays. We just ended up getting through that, since it's the 15th. Yeah, it's the 15th today. And we're renewing our lease for another year, but we're hoping that we're gonna move and find a better place and find better things for us, and make life way more easier, and figure out what we're gonna do with our lives in our future, especially now that we're married. And a lot. And like I said, like this whole entire video has been, a lot has happened in just 1 year, and I'm excited for this new year, because last year was full of good things and very bad things, and a lot of depression at times, and a lot of happiness at times. But we're hoping this year is going to be way more better and way more successful than the last year was, and put us on the track to where we want to go and where we want to be. So I'm gonna end it here. Like I told you guys earlier, the vlog videos are going to be posted. Those 3 other videos, those are H&M videos. They will be posted probably not too long after these videos get out. Like I said, in the vlog video, you'll find at the beginning I said, hey, it's been a while, because it was in April. I'm not going to film an update video or clip in that video, just because I'm making this whole entire video before I post that. And I might leave like a little text to be like, back in April, there's an updated video now. If you want to go watch it, it's the previous video. I'll probably do like that. But yeah, so it's plenty of things to happen in the new year, and if you are excited like I am, and I might not be on the same schedule as I was, I'm going to try my damnedest to do it, but we'll see what happens, because, you know, life obviously took a whole year away from me, and, you know, as long as I can do things and be able to do what I wanted to do and have fun with this channel and have fun with my other channel that I plan to do, I'm excited. We're in a better place right now, mentally, at least for right now, and I'm looking forward to it. So if you are looking forward to seeing what I have in store for you guys, don't forget to hit subscribe. If you know, appreciate this update. I don't know why I said appreciate it. If you liked this little update video, even though we'd had sad moments, and you want to see more from me, give me a little thumbs up, hit the bell notification for when I do end up posting my videos, and you'll be the first ones to get those notifications. And yeah, so I hope to see you guys more in the new year in 2024. 2024 is going to be way, way better. But yeah, I love y'all. I'll see you soon.